As opposed to movies or books, video games are an interactive medium and usually require you to do at least something if you want to finish them. See, I'll be able to do something in about 30 or 40 minutes. It counts. Not so the games we're talking about today, however, because these are games you can finish by doing absolutely nothing at all. Sure, you might not get the best ending, but you certainly get an ending, and in these increasingly time-strapped days, we'll take it. See for yourself in these 7 games you can complete by doing absolutely nothing. Enjoy, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games.
I'm headed in.
Welcome aboard.
2017's Tacoma sees you exploring an abandoned space station, piecing together the story of its crew through watching conversations and actions via augmented reality.
Yeah, we haven't heard who's staying on yet, and it can be a tense time, as you know.
Or at least it does if you play it properly. If you'd rather not bother with any of that, it sees you standing still for 9 hours waiting for some data to transfer. Then it ends. The character you play as in Tacoma is a contractor sent up to the Tacoma space station in response to a distress call to retrieve AI data from its various sectors. The way it normally goes is you initialize these AI data transfers, which take about 3 hours, then explore the station, piecing together what happened on Tacoma from augmented reality holograms, which helpfully speeds up the data transfer in the process. But maybe you're not bothered about all that rich story, and maybe you're doing something else, like making a slow-cooked ragu or writing the great American novel. If that's the case, you can just stand totally motionless and wait for the data transfer to take place in real time. This will take about 3 hours for each of the 3 sectors you're there to retrieve data from, so if you're willing to do nothing for 9 hours, congrats! You just beat Tacoma. Plus this ragu is really something. Great depth of flavour. Low and slow. Am I right?
Come on down, Joe. What do you...
Peas. Not quite peas, not quite beans, but something special in between.
Give your wife the best. Give her Big Ron's big pies.
If you've not played Thank Goodness You're Here, imagine Untitled Goose Game, but instead of a goose, you're a very small bright yellow man, and instead of honking at things, you spend all your time slapping people.
I'm sorry, mister. We're not open at the moment.
Because this dolt has lost my keys.
At the very start of the game, the tiny gnomish weirdo you play as is sent to the northern English town of Barnsworth for a meeting with the mayor.
I've got you a meeting with the Lord Mayor today, so don't miss that bus. Are you listening? Get going!
However, upon arrival it turns out that the mayor is busy and you'll have to either wait for him to be free or head out into town and kill a bunch of flowers with a lawnmower, go swimming in beer, or get made into a big sausage. Naturally, most players will pick the second option, but for patient types you can just sit quietly in the chair and wait. It will take a while because the Mayor of Barnsworth is apparently a busy guy, but sit here for 15 extremely northern minutes and the Mayor will eventually show himself, usher you inside, and explain the very important, serious crisis he is currently going through.
Ah, thank goodness you're here. I'm just about to tuck into this delicious amsani and have lost the mayoral mustard.
Which anyone who's actually finished the game will recognise as the game's actual proper ending, which you've managed to achieve by doing nothing instead of having to traipse all over town, slapping anything that moves, and several other things that don't. That being said, in this scenario, nobody ever brings Big Ron the meat he needs for his pies, so I think we can definitely call this the bad ending.
Ooh, excellent work, lad. A fine cut indeed. I'll make quite the pie, I'll tell thee now.
It's a new day. It's your time to shine. What are we talking about? We're talking about becoming a Fazbear Entertainment franchisee. That's right, restaurant ownership and management.
If you lived in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, chances are you'd want to avoid opening a pizzeria on account of all the murderous animatronics they seem to attract. And yet, in 2017's Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, that's exactly what you're expected to do. Open a pizzeria, decorate it, wrangle sponsorships, and, if you've got a death wish, fill it with animatronics of varying levels of attention to detail. I don't know, I just don't think the kids are going to latch on to Bucket Bob. That being said, if you'd prefer to have a safe, dull, mediocre time, you can ignore all of that and instead just sit around for the entire week doing basically nothing, which will net you one of the game's 6 endings and a certificate of mediocrity.
But before you go, take this certificate of mediocrity. You should be proud. You stood on 2 feet and convinced someone that you could do something, when in fact you couldn't.
It's like my graduation ceremony all over again. To get this ending, you need to end the week with a Faz rating of 0, which you can achieve by not buying anything for the pizzeria, ignoring and not salvaging all the old animatronics that show up in the alley next to your place, and generally just slacking off all week until Saturday rolls around. Yes, you do get fired, but hey, we impressed someone.
It's a fine line to walk, but you did it, completing your job with such an efficient level of laziness that we're surprised you're able to dress yourself in the morning.
True, it was our impressive level of laziness, but I think it still counts.
While most games on this list require you to do basically nothing in order to complete them, this game is the only one where doing literally nothing is the entire point of the game. It's called Nothing, it's available on Steam for free, and as you can see, it asks you to do nothing. The second you do anything, the game ends. Some could see this as a meta-commentary on the inherent meaninglessness of video games. Others see it as an exhortation to slow down and reflect in a world that prizes frantic activity and connectedness. Myself, I see it as my chance to finally go pro at a video game. Honestly gang, I am really good at this one. Oh nuts, I did something.
Another late night, another crazy deadline. You can do this, Audrey.
2022's Bendy and the Dark Revival is the 3rd game in the Bendy series of survival horror games, which are about nightmarish, non-copyright infringing cartoon characters who want to kill you. If only they'd waited 2 more years, this could have been Steamboat Willie. In the game, you play as Audrey, an animator for Archgate Studios, the company that took over from the ill-fated animation studio from the first Bendy game. As the game opens, we see Audrey hunched over her animator's desk, working away on a cell, when she decides that she's going to need some coffee if she's going to make it through the night.
No way I'm getting through tonight without some coffee. Probably some downstairs.
If you get up to go get coffee, you meet the studio's normal janitor.
A pretty girl like you shouldn't be wandering around all by yourself.
Seems normal, who ends up being not normal and drags you into the ink dimension where you embark on a life or death adventure to overthrow him, teaming up with other cartoon characters, having your legs torn off, and all sorts of other wild and dangerous situations. That can be avoided entirely if you decide to just get on with your work and ignore the coffee. Just ignore the prompts to stand up at the start of the game and sit at Audrey's desk for 20 real-world minutes, and Audrey will decide that while coffee is nice, this work needs doing.
Well, coffee's good and all, but this work's gotta get done. Focus, Audrey, focus.
And then the credits roll. Congrats, you beat the game. So relatable too. I mean, who among us hasn't zoned out and stared at their desk for a straight 20 minutes while at work? Andy? I'm asking you a question.
Huh? No, sorry, I zoned out there for a second.
My point exactly.
Horror puzzle game The Witch's House sees you playing as a girl called Viola who finds herself trapped in a forest. In this situation, you generally want to avoid entering any witches' houses due to the high probability of being made into a pie. But did I mention that her path to freedom is blocked by roses? How are you going to get through those? Fairly easily with some minor prickles. Don't make me laugh. Anyway, with no other recourse, Viola is forced to enter and explore the creepy titular house and is soon on the trail of another girl by the name of Ellen, who, judging by the diary pages left lying around the place, has been having a pretty dreadful time of it, suffering from, among other things, a deadly illness. Get to the end of the game, however, and you're treated to the horrifying reveal that prior to the start of the game, Ellen traded bodies with Viola, so you've actually been playing as Ellen all along. What's more, prior to the body swap, Ellen gouged out her own eyes and cut off her own legs, which is as viscerally upsetting as it is presumably difficult to achieve. You'd do the legs first, I guess? Come back to me. The proper endings of the game involve Ellen inhabiting the body of Viola, escaping the house, and being rescued by Viola's father, who promptly shoots Ellen's original body, not realizing his daughter is inside it. Fun! However, if you want an ending that's only implicitly horrifying and involves zero of the puzzle-solving effort, then good news! You can also win the game by doing literally nothing at all. Instead of entering the house, all you need to do is stand perfectly still for 1 hour. Maybe go get a sandwich. When the hour is up, the magical roses blocking your escape disappear and you can simply walk to freedom, secure in the knowledge that off-screen, the real Viola, trapped in Ellen's original body, has simply died of her injuries while you waited. Fun! But at least in this one, we have a sandwich.
Get up, boy. I recognize those eyes anywhere. I'm so sorry about this. This was supposed to be... well, not this.
Perhaps the most famous example of completing a game by doing absolutely nothing, we couldn't make this video without mentioning Far Cry 4. Otherwise the comments would be all, "Can't believe you didn't mention Far Cry 4, and honestly, I'm not dealing with that right now. Yes, you can sidestep so much violent bloodshed in Far Cry 4 just by being a good guest when, right at the beginning of the game, you get taken captive by the tyrannical pagan Min and forced to sit at his table while he gets his villainy on.
Don't move. I will be right back. Yuma, we need to talk.
As he pops out to oversee a spot of brutal torture, Pagan asks you to wait around for him to return. And if you like, you can disregard your instinct to escape his palatial compound and get on with the game, and instead stick around in the dining room. And although you never actually do sample the delicacies you've been served, your polite patience is good enough for Pagan Min.
Oh, fan-bloody-tastic. You, sir, are a gentleman. I sincerely apologize. We saw terrorists in the area and yada yada. The Crab Rangoon, right? It's... fabulous. Well, come on, let's go.
In no time at all, your grateful host helicopters you to the game's final objective, where you fulfill your mother's last wish without a single drop of blood spilled, except for that guy who got stabbed over dinner. So, game finished, and we didn't have a load of comments about Far Cry 4.
Now they're all complaining that we didn't include Far Cry 5.
I'm gonna go have a lie down.
Oh, good. You feel better now? Get it out of your system? Good. Maybe now we can finally shoot some goddamn guns.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video about games you can complete by doing absolutely nothing. Now I'm going to ask you to do something here. You can either click on this video up here from us, or you can click on this video down here from Outside Extra. Or you could do nothing, in which case YouTube will probably auto-roll you into one of our videos. Hopefully, that's how it's supposed to work, but who knows? YouTube's algorithm, probably something radicalizing they've got lined up for you. But you know, either of these are a good option too, so check them out and we'll see you next time.